Facebook ads can make you a multi-millionaire. No, seriously. When you crack the code on Facebook ads, you can literally print money legally out of thin air. It's exactly how people like Alex Hormozi, Iman Gadzhi, Alex Becker, and honestly, hundreds of other people have done to achieve massive amounts of wealth. But without the right protocol in place, you'll be spending thousands of dollars a month donating to the Zuck Foundation. That's why in today's video, I want to break down a step-by-step Facebook ads formula that allowed me to spend $3,008 in my first month of running an online agency, and in return make over $31,600 in sales. You're going to need to understand 4 key concepts. Number 1 is going to be organization and structure. Number 2 is going to be how to properly set up a campaign, an ad set, and an ad. Number 3 is going to be understanding ad creatives. And number 4 is how to turn traffic into conversions. When taking a look at the Facebook ads platform, you'll see that we have campaigns, ad sets, and ads. Campaigns are the top level, and then every ad set lives inside of a campaign, and then every ad lives inside of an ad set. The way you can think about it is the campaign is like the overall objective and direction. The ad set are the different audiences, whether that's location, interest-based, etc. And then the ad is what people are actually seeing and consuming on the platform. My favorite way to actually structure this campaign is to use a 3-phase campaign structure. Phase 1 is going to be creative testing. Phase 2 is going to be audience testing. Phase 3 is going to be the scaling. The way each of these phases works is I always start with phase 1. Once we find a winner, we'll then push it up to the phase 3 scaling. There is a formula for how much you want to spend here. You want your cost per acquisition. So in this case, it's going to be leads. You're going to take that number, you're going to multiply it by 50 and then divide it by 7. The reason is in order to scale a campaign properly, you're going to need to have at least 50 conversions throughout the entire week. In order to find out what our daily budget is, we're again going to take our cost per acquisition, multiply it by 50, which is what we need for the whole week, and then divide it by 7 so we can get a daily budget. Important to note, when we actually open the scaling, we have something called Advantage Campaign Budget, and that is turned on. What this does is, again, it'll distribute your budget across different ad sets in there. So when we have a winner, we'll just throw it in there. We'll say, hey, Facebook, you guys go ahead, you do your own thing, figure out what's working, just generate me leads. After we take this creative testing and bump it up into the phase 3 scaling, we're also going to take the exact same creative and we can now start to test different audiences. The different types of audiences you can test would be, again, going broad where you have absolutely nothing. You just tell Facebook to find anyone, or you could do lookalike audiences, custom audiences, retargeting audiences. Honestly, this is where you as the marketer need to get creative and start understanding how this all works and come up with a strategy. With the campaign structure out of the way, let's go ahead and explain how the ad sets work. As you can see, we give each ad its own creative called 1001, and this one is 1002. And then we're testing both of those creatives with the same audience because, again, this is a creative test. This essentially allows us to test different creatives against each other on an ad set level and see what creatives are performing the best. Inside of the ad sets, we have different ads where, again, we're testing different variations of the ads. So as you see, this is 1001A and 1001B, where, again, the concept is everything in that ad is the same except for maybe the hook on the video or maybe the headline on the image if it's a call out image. And to further examine the different type of tests you can do, you can test, again, the hook, which is like the first 3 to 7 seconds of the video. If it's an image, you can test different banner overlays. And if you don't know what a banner overlay, it's where you have this dead space from my head up, you leave it, and then you add your offer in the actual banner overlay. And then another thing you can go ahead and test is the actual offer. Maybe you can test guaranteed appointments versus guaranteed sales and see if one offer resonates more. And if it does, what's the different cost per lead, cost per appointment, etc. Let's say 1001 is a winner. What we're going to do is we're going to take 1001 and then we're going to add it here inside of the scaling campaign with everything being the same, the exact ad, the exact audience. And then if you further want to do some more tests, you can take this down here and then add it into the phase 2 audience testing, where, again, it's the same ad. You're just changing the audience to see if you can find a better performing audience. If you do end up finding a really good performing audience as well, you can take the winner of that and then drop it inside of, again, the phase 3 scale. When it comes to building out a campaign, honestly, the only thing I can really recommend here is turning on Advantage Campaign Budget on the scaling ad set and leaving this off on the testing ad set so we can collect clear data when we want and let Facebook do its own thing when we already know shit's working. On the ad set level, I'm going to toggle on the instant forms option, and then I'm going to scroll down and I'm going to toggle on maximize number of conversion leads. Important to note that there is a CRM integration that needs to happen with this. From there, we are going to toggle on dynamic creative. It basically allows you to provide different creative elements, and then Facebook's going to take it, it's going to mix and match a bunch of different things and then show it to the end user. For budgets, honestly, I'm not really a fan of starting anything under 50 bucks a day. I know a lot of people say that's a lot. If that is, start at 20 bucks, 25 bucks. Just realize that you're going to have to wait longer to collect the data. From there, go ahead and add whatever location you are looking for, whether that's local lead gen or if you're doing online e-commerce, just add the different countries. We see another advantage option here, as well as a third one here. Basically, what Meta's been doing is infusing more AI and machine learning into their entire media buying platform. You're basically giving Facebook the free range to do what it does best, to reach more people, get better results with fewer, more efficient campaigns, and ultimately make more money. Prior to this, as you see, you can switch to original audience, where all you were really doing was adding the different interest based, but they've recently added this advantage plus audience, so I always leave that on. You can actually go ahead and add an audience suggestion, where it says if you share an audience suggestion, we'll prioritize audiences matching this profile first before searching more widely. What I would do is I would open this, I would scroll down to the detailed targeting, and I would start searching for whatever it is I'm running ads for. If you're running ads for a car dealership, what I would do is I'd come in here and I'd start searching something like Auto Trader, and boom, we hit autotrader.com. I would then hit suggestions, and lo and behold, we got a bunch of different things. We got cars.com, edmunds.com, used car. I would leave just a few of these in there. Then from there on the placements, again, we see advantage plus placements. Just leave it on. Don't go into manual placements and start messing with it. I used to do this all the time where I'd be like, no, I don't want Facebook to show me on these random articles or in stream or anything like that. I only want to be on the feed, the stories, and the reels. As I started seeing Facebook push more and more this advantage plus stuff, I decided to give it a test, and honestly, it surprised me. We got way better cost per leads. We started implementing it for all of our clients, and boom, same thing. We're then going to go down into the new leads ad, where important to note, with the dynamic creative element turned on, there is somewhat of a formula for best success. What you're going to want to do is select around 3 creatives, whether that's different images or different videos. You're going to want to give 2 primary texts, 2 headlines, and 2 descriptions. This is going to give Facebook different options to input into the ad, and then they actually show a unique ad to each person based off what Facebook thinks is going to best perform for them. And then when it comes to the actual lead form, I've seen really good results with both rich creative and higher intent. So for this example, I have rich creative toggled on, where we're trying to generate leads for a dentist, obviously to straighten teeth. What's pretty cool about the rich creative is you can actually add a few different things, like an overview. You can tell how it works. You can actually add reviews, as well as having this really cool incentive box at the bottom as well. Important to note though that when it comes to the actual questions, I would highly recommend turning on conditional logic and having different flows for different people based off the input they use. Now, me specifically in my agency, we're now at a point where we ask on the form, how much money are you making per year? If they hit a number that doesn't resonate with our ideal consumer, then we'll literally just disqualify them and we don't even allow them to move forward. The next step to legally printing money with Facebook ads in 2024 is going to be the ad creative. Now, what you're looking at here is a Notion board of a pipeline that we use internally to actually plan, track, and manage all of our creatives. The way it works is we go ahead, we'll create a new ad where in here we can actually drop raw footage, any sort of B-roll, any sort of editor's notes. We can brainstorm anything. We can actually write the video script. So here we got hook A, B, C, and so on. We can also write the body. I always like to test 2 bodies. Body 1, which is a longer format, and then body 2, where you copy body 1, put it into ChatGPT, tell it, rewrite this ad and make sure it's 15 to 35 seconds long. We can also go ahead and drop any ad copy, as well as the finalized edited videos. I can then literally take this link, send it to my editor, where they open it, they can see all the raw footage, and then re-upload the final video, and then they'll go ahead and drop it in ready to publish. And when it comes to the actual ad, there are 2 types of ads that you can run. There are videos and there are images. The best structure for a video ad on Facebook is going to be making sure you have a hook, the rehook, which is keeping their attention, the body, which is trying to give as much of an explanation without going too deep into it, and then a clear call to action, which is getting people off to the next step. Now, some quick pro tips on if you're going to go the video route is make sure you have banner overlays. Also, make sure you're adding captions using AI. One of my favorite tools is Submagic. You can also add B-roll and all this crazy stuff to really enhance the way it all looks. Another recommendation is speed up the video if you just naturally talk slow, because it's going to be painstakingly boring and people's just going to swipe away. Another thing is make sure you have a really good offer, because no one's going to consume your video if the offer is not cold friendly. And then the last thing is don't be emotional. I worked one-on-one with a good friend of mine, James, and I remember he was telling me, he's like, I got a zit on my nose, I got to get my hair fixed, and it took him like a week and a half to record the video. When he recorded it, he wasn't even happy. I was like, dude, don't be emotional, just run it. it's going to work. If you want to go down the image option, here are some pro tips. Make sure you're using quality images. Tip number 2 is going to be make sure that it is eye-popping and it's not something that's boring. If I have a bunch of different images, what I honestly do is I'll put them all in a folder. I'll turn on the thumbnail view and I'll just scroll up and down until I really feel just one image that's screaming my name and it just captures my eyes. The third tip that I would recommend doing is making sure that you add text to the image. So whether again that's a banner overlay where you have your offer on there, if you're doing local lead gen for dentists, maybe like on the bottom you'll have a nice location. If you're trying to elicit an emotional response, you can add a little blurb of a testimonial on the image. But again, adding text gives the person the opportunity to engage more with your ad by consuming the written content they see. The fourth tip that I recommend is using before and after photos. If you're doing auto detailing, if you're doing dentistry, if it's a hair salon, then these types of before and afters really pop and really perform well on Facebook. The last tip that I have is turn this image into a 4x5 video on Canva. And here's a live example of an ad that I actually made for a really good friend of mine who runs an SEO company. We came into Canva, we made sure that the aspect ratio was indeed 4x5. We added all of our imagery, and then when we download it, we click on this file type and we scroll down to MP4 video. Facebook with images only allows you to upload a square, which is 1080 by 1080, but in video format, they allow you to post a slightly more verticalized video. So using this little hack allows you to purchase more real estate on the screen, so you get more screen for the exact same amount of money. So to give you guys some examples, I've gone ahead and I've just looked up online. These are images that are very eye-popping. They're highlighting certain text. Here's the product with quite literally, like I said, a blurb of a review. Here's another really good one, by the way, adding statistics to the image. This is also another really good one. There's 2 images. It looks kind of like a before and after, but it's real versus fake. You also don't really understand what the hell you're looking at. So now I'm reading it to see what's real and fake, where it says we tested fake tensile products, so you don't have to. See what discovered. It's kind of creating this interest and this intrigue to go ahead and click learn more. And then another really cool thing about images, you can actually use the carousel where Facebook shows one full image, a bit of another one, and then you can have like a slidable carousel. The last and most important part to being able to legally print money with Facebook ads is figuring out how to turn traffic into conversions. After you go ahead and generate that lead, you want to push people further into the funnel. So we say, wait, you're not done. Tap the button below to claim your free whitening and secure your promo price. They would do is then go ahead and tap here where we would send them to a landing page. What you want to keep in mind is, sure, this is the ideal and best case scenario from turning a lead and schedule them into an appointment, but you also have to realize that not all people like to purchase like this. We used to generate so many leads where people wouldn't book. I would personally call those leads only to find out they were doing $3 to $4 million per year. They were very interested. They just had a few questions before they actually wanted to commit to that full sales call. What we want to do to generate the most amount of conversions is wait 4 minutes. And if within the first 4 minutes they don't book a call, we run them through an automation where we will manually call this lead. What we do on this call is we want to serve and answer their questions, flip the switch, figure out more about their business, qualify them, and then push them back onto an appointment. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is how you can legally print money using Facebook ads in 2024. But before you actually start running ads, there's something you need to understand. Your leads will not buy from you if you don't have an irresistible offer. That's why I made this video right there where I go over the best offer to run in 2024 with your SMMA.